Chuck, did you have any concerns or questions I could answer right now?
Well, let me just start out by saying what a joy and a pleasure to be here today with you, my brother Gypsy, and
Yes, my brother Chuck.
between me and
Yes.
you, between me and you, it goes beyond dogs. And I love you, and thank you for being
Thank
here.
you. Thank you so much.
That being said, concerns? No, I don't have any concerns.
Questions
I
then.
don't know. I mean, maybe I could kind of talk about my journey and how because Sean was talking about his, um,
Yes.
and obviously
That's
you've
important.
influenced it. Yeah.
That's
So
important. Journey is extremely important.
sure. So not to be too long winded, but when I was a young person, like most people, there were dogs in our family. Misty was the first dog. I think I might have been a sophomore in high school when we got Misty. She was like a black lab mix, and
Yes.
she was the first dog that I actually trained. And most people, it's really weird today. We got all these newfangled methods of trainings, but nobody's dogs listen. And I just kind of always remember everybody's dog. Well, I just remember everybody's dog kind of like people didn't struggle walking their dog on a leash back in the 70s and 80s
Truly, truly,
from what I can recollect
truly.
anyway. So and then my Aunt Irma, she had two boxers, Fawn and Shadow, and I really love those dogs a lot. Um, but
Yes.
the most impressive dog was my uncle Lou Marino. As a matter of fact, I've named my whole dog project after he's actually my great uncle. Um, After
Mhm.
him, Lou Marino. That's why it's called Marinos.
Yes.
My name's Jines, but my mom's maiden name is Marino. But his
Yes.
my uncle was always into excellence. He bred Arabian horses and all that kind of stuff. But his garage kept on
Yes.
getting broken into. They were stealing his wood tools and his motorcycles. And one day we
Sure.
went over there on the weekend, and he had gotten this dog named Son of Sam. Um, at the time, I didn't realize he had
Mhm.
bought this as a pre-trained guard dog from some company down in Kentucky, I believe, at the time. Um,
Okay.
and I loved the training on this dog. How if my uncle came with me into the yard, I could play. I shouldn't have been playing tug with the dog, but I used to play tug with Sam all the time. Um,
True.
and I
True.
thought that was amazing that he would be such a fierce guardian. And my uncle never had a motorcycle stolen ever again. Um,
I'm
so
sure.
later in life, after I got out of the Navy and I moved down to Southern Illinois, out of practical need, I'm not necessarily in the top income bracket, and I usually live in places that are a little bit uh, rougher than most. And even out in the country, people don't realize it. You can have some pretty rough places out in the
A lot of
country.
feel for it. Yes.
And so I one of the if Sean's putting the photos on there, you see me with a full beard with a black T-shirt. That's me with Beauregard, the first German Shepherd that I did Kohler method guard dog training with. Um,
Hmm.
and then after him, I had well simultaneously as well, Otis. He was my Rottweiler boxer cross. And boy, he was everything you would ever want in a guard and protection dog for the house. We
Right.
lived in a place. We lived in a place where every house. It was kind of like a neighborhood out in the country, if you could imagine. Kind of think about that. Um, and ours was the only house that did not get broke into at some point. And
Yeah.
we didn't have locks on the doors. We could not lock the doors if you wanted to lock the doors. Um, so yeah, but anyway, got back into dogs, and again needed them out here in New Mexico. We live off grid, and there's this is pretty wild out here. So out of necessity, and so um, I kind of fell into all of the newfangled stuff that we see online, and the old Kohler method as well.
Yes.
But I knew something wasn't right, and you know, in my trainings, I was naturally moving away from sleeves. Stop. Anyway, one day, here's this old dude on a channel wearing a zebra mask. It must have been during COVID, I think. And
Yeah.
he's talking. When he said the only show that matters is the showdown. I said, "Who's this?"
That's right.
I,
That's
that
right.
caught my attention. And then the best bite is no bite.
That's right.
Those I think like Sean was saying, the best bite is no bite is so simple. It's freaking genius, man. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you could build your dog life around that. You
Yeah.
really could.
Yeah.
You could really hitch your wagon to that. So anyway, like I said, it's like being on a path of spirituality or whatever. And there's all these people in the marketplace that say, hey, we got the real diamonds right here, man. We got what you need. Click here, man. $600. Bam, we'll get you set up, and you're walking along and you
Right.
spend all these money on these courses. And then, man, it just hits you, man. Dude's got the real deal. And like you said, once you see, right? Once your eyes open, the same videos of the same things that you've been watching that once were impressive. Now you look at it, and literally, when I there was a specific video where it was supposed to be defending against two people, right? And now
Uh-huh.
when I look
Uh-huh.
at that video, I see my loved one lying on the side of the road, broken, beaten, and
Uh-huh.
tattered. It's that real to me. It's not a joke. Um, that will I say that
Not a game.
that'll get you jacked. Is what that'll get you.
Yeah, it's not a
All the
game.
money, all the time, all the BS aside, that will get you jacked. And I
Mm-hmm.
want something different. And that's what Gypsy's done. He's
Well, thank
offered
you.
a and I'm honored that Gypsy has somehow decided to share with me so much. Um, and I'm honored to sit at his table and be invited there.
Well, I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Since my show has always been kind of centered around particular dog breeds, uh, and just kind of the finer points of those particular breeds that I'm interviewing the person
Yes.
has. Do you think part of the problem with a lot of these protection dogs is they're not really using a breed of dog that has enough defensive drive to actually be successful in actually protecting somebody?
Sure. I was going to ask you to take the floor. I have a lot of respect for you, and so I want to address whatever questions or concerns you have. Then I would like for Chuck to have a moment to address something, anything he'd like, and then I could finish it up by telling you what I think about things. Is that okay? No. I think every dog comes with a component of defense. So I'm going to give you a secret that most guys never consider and they never ever work on. It's called the defensive protocol. The defensive protocol consists of alarm, challenge, threat, threat display, and engagement. Engagement being putting a mouth on it. So, so, so even we breed min pins also, and a min pin is going to sound off in the middle of the night if he hears a car door half a mile away. He's going to wake up the whole camp. Hey, boss, somebody's opening a door down there. I don't recognize that car sound. I don't recognize that door. You better get up and check it out. That's alarm. And it is the most important part of the defensive protocol because look at what's sold on the market today. Alarm systems. Challenge. Bad guys do not want to be discovered. They are cowards. They are sneaky. They want to get in, they want to get out. That's the mindset, the mentality of a bad guy. Now, I've known lots of bad guys, lots of them. Refuse to work, refuse to dig a ditch. So they'll steal from the church lady. We'll get back to her. They'll steal from the church lady while she's at church. That's a coward. Because all you got to do is go ask the church lady for a bowl of soup. She's going to give it to you. She's going to give it to you. She's going to feed you. She's going to feed your wife. She's going to feed your kids. Then she's going to say, let's pray. Correct? So you ain't got to steal. Just a lazy bastard coward. So that's challenge. When a dog challenges a man, that means they go to where the problem is. They point him out. There he is, right there. And he points him out. There that bastard is, right there. So now you've had time to get something in your hand. I don't care if it's a pitchfork. Follow your dog to the bad guy and be ready to engage. Don't go there talking. Go there engaging. Back your dog up. You back your dog up as a pup, he gonna grow into a dog that backs you up. Because bad guys will sit and watch you go to work, knowing your wife and children are there alone, thinking they can just sneak up on them and jump out and grab them. But even my min pin is going to slow that down or change his mind. That is defense. He don't got to weigh 200 pounds. Now, if he weighed 200 pounds and he got the heart of a min pin, he's a bad man. He's something else. That's right. So, it's my belief that all dogs have that because when I was growing up, my people didn't have money for purebred animals in most cases. This Miss Jane down the street had a good dog. Usually it was a shepherd husky mix or a shepherd pit bull mix or a shepherd mix, some kind of mix with a shepherd because shepherds were plentiful. And so it wasn't purebred. But everybody knew, don't go in Miss Jane's yard. Well, Miss Jane, every day you go by, Miss Jane, your dog gonna have puppies yet? Tell your mama my dog getting ready to have puppies. Your mama's down there getting one of Miss Jane's puppies because of its reputation in the community. Paperwork can't save you. Paperwork sits in a drawer. Bad guy walks right by it. The paperwork don't say a word. No, I don't care nothing about no paperwork. I care about the horse flesh I'm looking at. I care about the dog flesh I'm looking at. A real dog man knows what he's looking at. So let me back up. At a certain point in my life, I decided I wanted to have a career. I wanted to make a difference. Yeah, I had a job at a mail room, and I had a job, digging ditches. I had a, menial clean out toilets or whatever it is. But that doesn't satisfy you. That just gets you some money. I wanted to satisfy. Not just myself, I wanted to be a hero. So I got hooked on this value system that everything we do, say, and think either creates value or destroys value. And not being a heart surgeon or a judge, just a regular guy, I could create value training dogs to defend my most favorite client of all, the church lady. Now, you can't get much more value than the church lady in this whole world. The church lady raises our children, raises our brothers and sisters. Church ladies raise us if we were lucky enough, if we're fortunate enough, we got a church lady at home, and she's raising us. Correct? Yes, she ain't got to be no Bible thumper. She don't want to hurt nobody, but she know how to call the wrath of God down on your butt for violating her and her family. So, here's where I learned about dogs. I have a book. It's called The Owner's Guide to Raising Your Pet Protector. I don't think I say the word training in that book 2 or 3 times. My wife and I wrote it. My wife is a master dog trainer. She trains therapy dogs. She started the therapy dog program in our county, in the whole county. It's modeled throughout the state. Other hospitals in other states. She is also a legal expert when it comes to dogs, dog behavior, dog bites. My wife, bad man. And she is an expert handler. We call her the mother of dragons. After Scorpio, she had bred she's bred more Canis Panthers than Scorp. She's handled more St. Canis Panthers than Scorp. And Scorp is the greatest, one of the top 5 handlers in the entire world. He's gone now. He's dead. But I poured a lot into my wife. And she could stand toe to toe with any man handling a dragon. A dragon. So I named it Raising Your Pet Protector because I was taught how to raise a dog by 4 women. My mother, Dolores. My Auntie Jean, who was my godmother, but we called her Auntie Jean. My grandmother, yeah. My other auntie, my mother's sister, Gladys, who taught me the rough and tumble of the mean world. Her sons and daughters fought the Blackstone Rangers. Blackstone Rangers is a street gang. They call them El Rukins now. They fought them in the hallway of their apartment building. Physically. And of course, my grandmother, Helen, my father's mother. These women were so adept at raising real dogs. I never, ever heard a man raise his voice around these women. They were never disrespected by somebody off the street, and never, ever did anybody try to break in their house. It's because of how they raised, and never, ever did any of these dogs try to harm her grandchildren. That was her number 1 rule. Don't hurt my babies. So when you learn a lot from these women and their dogs, that's called raising. It ain't called training. Raising is important. because it creates the master-dog relationship. Dogs are born to have a master, not an alpha. Let me repeat that. Foxes, wolves, hyenas are born to have rivals that are called alphas of the pack. When they're running behind that alpha, they can't wait for him to step in a hole, break his arm, break his leg so they can finish him off and he dies and now they become. But when the master hurts their foot, breaks a toe, if you're its master, it sympathizes with you. It will self regulate as to not harm you further because you're its master. And a dog has genetic components in their brain, in their chemistry, that is different from a fox, a wolf, hyenas. They're born to have a master. So when you're trying to be Caesar Milan and you want to be its alpha, you're setting yourself up. A dragon gonna eat your ass up. You pull that Caesar Milan stuff with him. They eat you up. So I think I've kind of exhausted myself. You know, I've been doing this cancer treatment. And it's got me real tired. Plus my wife's looking at me. I gotta go up north to the surgeon today. After I do a radiation therapy, so I don't have a lot of strength or time or energy. So please forgive me, but I'm wide open to sit and talk with you gentlemen again and explain these things further.
Anytime, Gypsy. Anytime. I'll make time for you as best I can.
Please do.
Hey, Gypsy. Hey, Gypsy.
Yeah.
Remember when you were a young man and you wanted to be a hero?
Yes.
You're my hero.
Oh man, you're my hero. I ain't playing. I am not playing. I don't lie and I don't play.
Me either, Gypsy.
And I ain't nobody to mess with. You don't want to mess with me. Even in my old age. But who I love, I love. And I love who I love because they love me. And that's you. You're in that category.
I do love you, Gypsy.
And I hope all you guys can get to that point where we can find some way to love each other because we have a common love, and that's for the dog and for what the dog means. So maybe next time we'll get more into the prey defense aspect. We'll get into the muzzle and technique.
Absolutely.
Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Gypsy, do you mind if I continue?
That works, Gypsy.
All right, y'all. Please, go ahead.
Gypsy, you take care today and send Lori my love as well, please.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. You just don't know.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've been training dogs 50 years. 50 years as a professional. Before that, I trained dogs out in the park as a kid, in the prairie, behind Funtown. Dogs is my life. You remember Funtown?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody from Chicago. Yeah. All right, y'all.
All right, Gypsy. You have a good day.
Thank you for including me.
All right, Gypsy.
Thank you for including me. I really appreciate it. And I'm here for you. Any questions y'all have, just write them down. Let's get ready for the next time.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm ready.
All right, y'all. Peace and love.
Peace to you, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Peace and pause from me, the mother of dragons.
See you, Lori. Thank you so much.
All right, now enjoy.
You too.
You know, one of the things that I'm kind of doing is, you know, because Gypsy's really been kind of imparting the legacy to me to carry it on, and one of the things that I'm trying to do is a new lingo. Same philosophy, same stuff, right? And you sent me the videos of the Matt Thornton. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that, and how it pertains to the muzzle, and to just so many things, if we could. I'm working on an essay that I'm titling "The Muzzle Will Set You Free," and that sounds very counterintuitive. But let me tell you, again, I've never been a professional dog trainer. I don't claim to have been a professional. I'm not a master dog trainer. I train my own dogs. Here recently in my later years, I'm about to stand eye to eye with 60. I have been training, helping people train their dogs, and I also have a website with training videos and stuff like that. But I've trained my own dogs, and let me tell you, the first time Apollonia got her what are supposed to be bumps, right? You're supposed to take the first bumps in the muzzle, and then you develop them in the bangs. Well, she came out with bangs, and the first time that happened, I said, "Oh hell no! There's just no way." And when Matt Thornton is talking about aliveness, I thought, "Oh my God, that is exactly what that is." The sleeve is dead routine. It's dead on so many levels. It's dead. And the muzzle, I can't tell you. Well, I can't because I took some notes. Well, think about this. First of all, the authentic movement from the agitator, not being restricted by suits, by sleeves, right?
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you're doing serious auto protection, most people, the dog is engaging and biting the bad guy outside the car window. One of the reasons is they don't know what they're doing. The other reason is that it's real cumbersome to reach in with a sleeve and be grabbing the dude, right?
Right.
You're restricted by that. Did you watch the little video that I posted of Appy doing the auto protection?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Man, wasn't that alive, bro? Let me tell you, when I went back to my agitators, he's actually a member on the website too, and I'm gonna help train his dog. But when I went to the truck, he goes, "Holy fuck, dude, she would have fucked me up."
Yeah.
She hit him. Now, if you look at that one photo, you can see it. That muzzle is smushed into his chest. I mean, she hit him hard, man, in multiple places.
Yeah.
in rapid fire, with all seriousness of tenacity. See, here's the thing. In the mind of the dog, this is the difference between prey drive and these dead routines and what you've seen with Apollonia, is that in the mind of the dog, which is another essay I'm writing called How the Dog Sees It, Appy's seriously fucking fighting for her life. She really, really thinks that this motherfucker is going to hurt me and her. There's no game, nothing like that. It is real, and you can't get any more alive than that. And because of the muzzle, you are free to do this from multiple reasons. So first of all, right now the dog is free to engage. It's alive on the dog's part, and now what is the dog? Mind alters. I've seen it in my dogs. Now the dog, which once thought that man was God, now feels and senses the fragility of the human body. Something they do not sense when a man is wearing a sleeve and all of this equipment. They realize, whoa, I can kick this motherfucker's ass. Goes back to, why can't I play tug with my, go ahead, but don't train with this method. Because we have a life raising, like Gypsy was talking about, a lifestyle of thou shalt not resist me in every way. And the reason for that, if you're going to get these dogs, and you're going to awaken that dragon or awaken the devil in these dogs get older. They get crabby. There's a whole bunch of reasons to have an entire lifetime of thou shall not resist me. So there's some other things here. The other thing, and what I'm trying to do is really simplify a formula that the average truck driver, I want to get out of the dog community, right? These long routines and all this kind of stuff. I want to get out of that. What I want is a very simple, effective, just like Matt Thornton with his book. I was like, holy shit, I want to do this with this system. So, because the average person doesn't have access to professional agitators. You know what I mean? They don't have all this kind of stuff. So how can I get this and break it down to a simple formula so that the average person who really needs protection dogs out there, truck drivers, all kinds of people that really need these dogs, right? How can I break this down so that they can do the most fundamental things that they need? And that is to love me, obey me, and protect me. And that means they got to be a master of the 5 commands. No, come, down, stay, engage. Everything else is frickin' gravy. What I need is no, come, down, stay, engage. That is all I need. If I'm solid on that and I work on stopping my dog on a dime and leaving 9 cents change, and my dog, the other thing is look, what he's talking about with the ground game, with the grappling, an impassable guard and controlling the limbs. I was like, man, that's it. But that's my up game, not my ground game. My up game is an impassable guard. We're working tight. We're in the fight and we're keeping it tight. So let me say how you guys might be able to tell cubic zirconia in the marketplace and real diamonds. If you see a video and I don't care if it's from the greatest, most acclaimed dog trainer in the world. I could tell you a funny story about that. I didn't know it was his video because I'm not hip to this kind of stuff. Doesn't matter. This is empirical. It has nothing to do with personalities, politics, IQ, gender. It has nothing to do with that. Once you have eyes to see, the video that was once, here's my protection dog defending against 2 people. You say, oh, no. The name of that video is how to get fucking jacked while out walking your dog by 2 dudes. And people say, what? Right? Because they can't see it. They think you're talking a foreign language. Well, let me tell you. This is from the streets, man. This is jiu-jitsu from Brazil. This is real shit. I can hitch my wagon right to Mac Thornton because we're looking at the same empirical universe with the same empirical realities within personal protection as a human being and personal protection with our dogs. That's why we're brothers from another mother. We're looking at the same reality with the same critical mind and fact-based thinking. So if you see a dog where somebody has that dog, well, first of all, they're going to have, what you'll notice is they'll have both hands tied up in the lead. Right?
Mm-hmm.
First indication you're about to get jacked. You have left yourself absolutely defenseless. What, you want your dog to do all the work? You're going to fight 2 or 3 people and you're just going to what? Let your dog do all the work? You're not in this together? You're not both trying to get home? No, we both have to be in this. So handling is the first thing. What we do is we hold our dog with our weak hand, with one hand. And the lead is about 12 inches, not 12 feet. Mm-hmm. Because if somebody can get between me and my dog the number one rule of ground has just been broken. They got past the fucking guard, right? Or the phalanx in the Roman legions, right? One links into the other. Basic stuff. Basic. They've got past the fucking guard. You're done. We're talking about empirical reality here. So if you're fighting off and you're watching a video, and then if the attackers are each taking their merry turns, one guy comes in, then the other guy comes in, and then lo and behold, you look and the other guy, shit, he's totally flanked you, right? While your dog's, well, in a real situation, man, you just got stabbed. No question about it. You just got stabbed. I don't care what it looks like on YouTube or who it is. That's not real, and I don't want that. And that's why this method that comes off the streets of Chicago, I just suck it up like a sponge, man. Here's what I tell people. You can train just about any dog to be proficient at some level of protection of the protocol. Okay? Let's be clear about that. Most definitely, you can take most dogs and make a great alarm dog out of them. They bark, right? Don't dogs bark? That's
Right.
the protocol isn't training. This is what dogs do. It's what they do, you know? So anybody can do that. That being said, as a breeder, I want specific dogs, and I like my Molossers for a reason. And here, let me explain. Let's take some Dutch Shepherds from down in Florida. Let's say there's a guy in Jacksonville, Florida. We won't mention any names, not to be controversial. Let's say that somebody has some Dutch Shepherds, and what they're doing is they're on YouTube and they say, "Man, I am the master. Man, I got the badass puppies." And the whole program is starting at about, I don't know, 3 weeks old, probably. They get these dogs chasing and fighting this and that and the other. Hell, some guys might even take 8, 9 week, 10-week-old little Dutch Shepherd puppies and put a leg sleeve on an 8, 9, 10-year-old little boy. And man, just let them have and go right at it there as a pack. You might want to do this as a pack, actually. You might want to get 5 or 6 dogs to attack a little kid. And you might want to build this as master imprinter. So then the whole dog's life is spent bite, and that's what they do from morning till noon till night, right? Because they want to make sure the dog will bite, because apparently they're worried about it. Well, I would say you got some really shitty genetics there, bro, because here's my story. It's a little bit different, okay? And this is genetics. This is breed. This is breeding. This is my recipe that I created. And proof in concept is in my videos. It's not an illusion or a theory. Most of them are behind a paywall for members, but I do have show and tell on my YouTube too, if people want to see it. There's a dog that has been, and I'm going to rinse and repeat on this for sure, because I got it down. There's a dog that at 22 months old had never been told to alert, never. Had been never played tug with, never. Had never chased a rag, never. Never bit a wedge, never. I hope people are getting this. And in 30 days, she's smoking just about everything on YouTube. How is that, man?
Genetics and
raising. Proper
training.
raising. That's right. Well, raising,
right?
and training, and because Gypsy's right about that. I have something I call hobo training. It's kind of his raising. It's the same concept. You know, life is a training session for me and my dogs. You know, we don't always have mealtime is a training time we have, but life is like if we see a snake at the park, right? We see a bull snake. We move in. Oh, what a great opportunity to snake proof our dog. So when it's a rattler, we don't have to deal with that. Oh, there's somebody with another dog. Let's move in and move towards it. Right? That's my whole thing. My life is like that too. I do the same thing. No, I do, man. You call animal control, I'll go volunteer. It's all good, man. It's all about the dogs for me. Don't say you got a Lamborghini and you got a Briggs and Stratton lawnmower engine under the hood.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I don't have a problem with any of that stuff. That's all good.
Yeah.
But when you're marketing that to see, because here's my primary concern, isn't the wealth of some guy on YouTube. I've been a ditch digger all my life. I was a roofer and other things for 22 years. I've pounded millions of nails. I put the roof on the St. Louis Cathedral in Jackson Square. I know what it is to try to earn a buck. And so my primary concern is Gypsy's Church Lady's Pocketbook. But then the other thing is the severity of it. And I like to say what I see is my loved one lying torn, tattered, and beaten when I see that video. Because I hope that resonates with people, that it's not a YouTube show. And if you buy that and you think that's going to work, you are sadly mistaken. And somebody is gonna. Do you want your wife? I'll just ask you. Do you want your wife sexually fucking assaulted in your own fucking bedroom? I'll just ask you. Is that what you want? Because there's plenty of stuff out there that'll lead right to it. Here's a couple things with that. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm going to touch on prey and defense a little bit here, okay? Because this is really important stuff, man.
Yep.
So, prey drive is non-committal. I'll explain that a little bit. And that's why you see these guys developing prey drive, right? From the youngest age, because it's non-committal. I'll tell the story Gypsy tells. He tells some really cool stories, and it's true. Say you got some lions, right? And man, they ain't ate in a couple of days, man, because hunting hasn't been very successful. And it's the middle of the day, and lo and behold, here comes some sort of prey. Just, very little effort, and they could bring it down. Well, what's the lion do? Oh, it's sure hot out. Oh, yeah, I'm hungry, but we'll go get that later, right? Mm-hmm. True story. Happens a million times every day. Yeah. That's prey drive. Let's take that same group of lions and now some hyenas or a lioness or a lion from another pride has now stepped onto their territory. Oh my God. 110%. Here, now, for real, let's go. Right? Mm-hmm. And the more you push it, the more intense it gets. That's defensive drive. So here's why I like female dogs for personal protection dogs better than male dogs. I like male dogs for guard dogs. Mama bear, papa bear energies. Oh, mama bear, papa bear, hunter bear. That's your prey drive, which is chase and apprehend. I have no use for chase and apprehend. I want a solid guard. I have no use for that whatsoever. If I have to chase and apprehend, there was a failure in my guard, whether it was my car, my body, or my house. So defensive drive, a mother protecting her pups, if you can imagine that type of energy, the tenacity of that energy, the fierceness, and rather than backing down, all drives will back down at some point, but the commitment level on a defensive drive is just off the charts. So that's what you're seeing, because one of the things I was looking at all these YouTube videos, and one of my first things years ago, I was like, man, all these dogs seem real fucking mellow compared to my dogs, man. Well, that's what it is, man. You're tapping into that. Now, here's the thing. You cannot work defensive drive like you do prey drive. It'd be like melting the barrel off your gun. That's high. Here's why we doing the jugs and the hot and cold water as puppies and all of this stuff is having effect on the nervous system, on the synapses, on the highways, and all that kind of stuff. Because later, that's why my puppy course is awesome, because everything in there, it's, even if you ain't going to do this, it's an awesome how to raise a frickin' puppy. But if you're going to do this, there's reasoning behind every damn thing. It's because later, you should see the video, dude. I wish I could show it to you, but it's on my paywall. So dig this. So here's Apollonia for the last month, and this fucking bad guy's been jumping out from trees every once in a while and trying to hurt me and my man, right, for a month. Right? That's how she's viewing it. Now all of a sudden, my master's asking me, we got to walk past this motherfucker? We got to walk 3 feet past it? You want me to sit and stay while you talk and shake hands with this motherfucker? When you first start a dog out, you can see the dog tremble, right? Because it's trying to process that. Now, why is that dog staying? Not because of training. Yes, of course, training and raising, but because of the relationship, the trust between me and the dog. You're not going to get a dog to do that. Do you know the trust you're putting in that motherfucking dog? To say, think about it. From the dog's view, the same motherfucker that's been trying to fuck us up for, excuse my language, man. I don't realize how much my wife tells me about it, but I get excited about this because this is real shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just awesome, man. So to the dog's mind, and that's awesome that she's doing that. And the more you do this type of training, the more they cool down and they process that. And that's why I don't care if a dog's afraid. I don't care about fear. I'm looking at, how does that dog process that fear? Hoist Gracie was probably scared shitless looking at fucking chemo across the goddamn ring, but how did he process it? Right? That has to do with the nerves on the dog. And that's what I'm looking for. Of course, and so getting back to the breeds, when you get Molossers, right, you're getting dogs that have been bred for, geez, who knows how freaking long, to have absolutely the traits that we're looking for. If you were ever to read Laws, that was Plato's last book. He was 83 when he wrote the Laws. And in the Laws, Plato talks about the nature of the guardian of the city, which is kind of interesting because Gypsy has being a knight of the realm is how he puts it. And I translated it into Platonic speak. But, what are the attributes of the guardian of the city? And the guardian of the city is soft and silk to the children and to the loved ones and everybody within the polis walls. And is ruthless till death. Ooh. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And that's what I got. I got dogs in here, dude, that will die for me and I for them. I'm a little emotional because Gypsy's sick too. I don't mean to be. It's cancer sucks, but yeah, man. And so as far I was telling my wife this morning, it's like I was in affiliate marketing, and people look a dream of like a open highway niche, and like you said, it pretty much is. There's not a lot of people talking this. There's very few, and but I don't even look at it like that. Of course I want to make money. Absolutely, man. I want to feed my dogs and pay my bills. I live off grid in a shack that I built. I'm not like real materialistic kind of guy. And that is what it also means to be a guardian of the city and a knight of the realm. It's about helping to protect the people. And we're living in a collapsing society right now. And there's a breakdown of our legal system and the Constitution. It's not the top 20% income earners who are into all this sports stuff who really need the guard dogs like we do. We're down here in the bilge. We're in these little small towns with meth heads all over the fucking place trying to steal our shit out of our garages. And you know what I'm saying? That's where we live on a day-to-day basis. Truck driver women out there who the company won't let them have a firearm. I see you guys. You got your little terriers and fucking awesome, man. You can train that little Boston Terrier You can, that's my message. You don't, or some little mutt dog. I don't give a shit what it is. We can help train that dog to some level, right? That'll give you the extra seconds that you need. Maybe it's not going to be a big man stopper. So what? Most of these creeps take the path of least resistance. And if you got a dog that's got a threat display, and if it's even a Boston Terrier, they're probably going to go down to the next cab with someone that ain't got that. Here's what you don't see. How do you train your dog that there's a force field on the car windows? Nobody thought. Well, you never see a fucking video anywhere about it, right? Never. Hey, how did all the home protection videos is biting a sleeve in the house rather than out on a field somewhere? How did this motherfucker get up in your house, man? If you got a protection dog, how did this motherfucker get in the living room? Someone got past the guard, man. I ain't saying it can't happen, but something happened, right? To me, that's a failure. How did somebody reach in your car and snag your purse that you think now that you got a guy? I was hearing someone say, well, someone might jack your purse. Here's the other thing with me and also Gypsy, and I'm really into this. All of my stuff is formulated around crime data. This has got to be around what's going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? Where are they coming? Where are they coming in through the house, right? And what order? 2% come through the attic, 9% come through the basement, right? But then you're still dealing with a door because they're coming up a flight of stairs normally into the kitchen or whatever the case may be. Then there's the garage door, but we're dealing mostly with windows and doors is what we're winning. There's nothing out there with all this supposed protection. And where are you going to need a protection dog? 75% of the time in your house. Everything we see is a dog chasing and jumping and biting a fucking sleeve everywhere. Then the other one is controlling the limbs, right? Impassable guarding and controlling the limbs. Here's another thing you guys can look for. If you see a dog biting a sleeve and the guy's got a stick in the other hand, you are not looking at a protection dog. You're just not. Change the channel next. Hey, wasn't that simple?
Yeah.
That was not complex. It wasn't really esoteric or philosophical. You can now change the channel.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that, but here's what I do want to do. And I want to set this up. And this video I will put on YouTube when I do this. Because I believe you should show and tell. And I'm going to tell my two agitators. And I feel totally confident. We do not have to rehearse this. I could do it right now with Apollonia. And I want at this place in the park where we do this. And I'm going to tell them, I want both of you guys to come out from behind these trees, and I want you both to try to grab me. I don't want one of you standing here and one of you standing there. I want you both to come and get me. And I want to show you guys what happens. I'm totally, absolutely confident it won't happen. There is no way, even at 57 years old with my bad knee and my shoulder, and I've been in a scrap or two, the average two dudes that would try to jack us are going to suffer. I guarantee you, man. I guarantee you. Especially, dig this. I'm free to have my blade out, bro. My hand is not tangled up in a leash. See, people don't think about this. I'm free to punch that other motherfucker right square in his head or jam his nose up with my palm. Whatever the case may be. And it ain't going to take, here's the other thing people don't think about. So the first guy's going to come in with that pipe. Appy already knows what to do. Brother, it's over in people don't think about this. My dog is not going to jump up and latch on and hang on. My dog is going to jump up and fuck you up in about 2 goddamn seconds. And then she's going to turn around and fuck up the other dude. Now, if you got 3 guys or 4 guys and you're out hiking, your wife is out hiking, or whatever the case may be, and they try to jack you, there's more than likely one of them dudes is going to be the boldest motherfucker, right? And so with our method that we have, our dog naturally is going to nail whatever's foremost and whatever comes foremost. So as soon as that bold ass dude comes, he's nailed. you know, and in the right place, not not the leg or anything like that. So, you know, if you think about that, that's probably the end of that engagement, even with multiple attackers. But I do want to work with that with Apollonia, and more so just to show people, because I truly do. I feel confident I could do it right now on a dime. So anyway, anything else you want to ask or say, or?
So when you and Gypsy kind of talk about you and Gypsy's
Sure.
evolution, because I kind of evolution of your relationship, and then how that two people from probably opposite perspectives of life.
Hey, can I talk about a little bit of the social thing, man? Or
yeah, absolutely. Just how that,
because I think there's a lesson here because Brother Gypsy hit on something here, man, and that was bigger than the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it led back to the dogs. And I think it's really remarkable that me and Gypsy would come together at this point in history, because I think in a lot of ways we are archetypes of two different worldviews, politically and socially, currently on racial issues. And I can't tell you how refreshing it is to disagree, but stand up like fucking men and dust yourself off and shake hands, and let's move along together for a common purpose. And I don't think we see very much of that today, man.
No.
So a lot of people, I mean, I'm just, you know me, dude, I'm authentic. So you're going to get the raw deal now. So here it comes. So a lot of people like to say that I'm a white supremacist and that I'm a racist and I'm an anti-Semite and I'm a meth head and I'm a homosexual and oh God, I can't imagine all the things that I am. It's actually comical in a lot of ways. And I take it like a man. I don't. There's a lot of hate videos out there. I never flag them. I don't care what people say. I'm not embarrassed of any of my positions. Here's what I know as a human being. I know that my heart and my soul is with whoever is being oppressed. That's it. It doesn't matter to me. IQ, race, creed, sexual orientation. I want all people to be treated with respect and dignity. And I want them to have a fair shake when they walk up in that courtroom. May all the bullshit fall aside when we walk up into a courtroom. May there be no thumb on the scale when we walk into our courtrooms, and we've lost that. We have lost that. And yeah. So anyway, all of those accusations, and that's fine. So at the same time, I believe that I also recognize I'm an empiricist. I recognize reality in the dogs and whatever it is. I recognize the reality of human biodiversity. And while human beings all share in being human beings, no doubt, the smile we smile is in the same language. The Crosby, Stills, and Nash, Wooden Ships, you nailed it. It's actually Joni Mitchell, I think. But whatever the case, that is all true. But at the same time, just like our dog breeds, we talk openly about differences in personalities, traits, liabilities, assets, diseases, right? in all of these things, and we speak openly that some of this stuff comes from environment, but some of it comes from genetics as well. And yet, if someone recognizes the reality of human biodiversity, all of a sudden they are a white supremacist. And I'm a man who has a website and a career as a documentary photographer of making friends and brothers with homeless people. You know how tall I was on the streets of Chicago? I was tall, brother. I could walk into drug dens with drug dealers. My clout was so good on the streets of Chicago. I ate out of the dumpsters with Teddy. And if I went to Chicago today, the first person that I'd go see is Teddy the Bear Smith. And you can see his photographs, and I'm writing a book about the Alley Boys and Stutters and Hercules and Radical, all black men, every last one of them. And if you ask those black men, I remember my wife said this morning, it was funny, talking about being a minister. Hercules was a schizophrenic black guy, man. And the cops had busted us smoking a blunt. And they said, what are you doing? We see you all the time. And I said, oh, I'm a documentary photographer. And Hercules goes, oh, he's a minister. And I said, I'm not a minister. He goes, no, man, you're a minister. And I started to think about it, and I guess I was kind of wove that in, to, so I have a track record of non-racism, that's about a mile long. And, so anyway, it was great. Like Gypsy said, there can't be any daylight between us. And we hashed it out, and it was great, man. We hashed it out. It was funny, man. It was really kind of funny, man. Two dudes just standing there hashing it out in the street. I didn't think he'd ever call me again, And, the dust settled, and the phone rang, and, we love each other. So.
I just think that just is a testament to you and Gypsy, that you guys can understand the differences and not let it get between you. And like you said, this is so important, such an important message. And that's why I find it really important to have both you guys on, and we can, in a sense, I know some people don't like this term, agree to disagree, but we can do it in a way where we meet in the middle. You know what I mean? Sometimes we can agree to disagree, and we just go to opposite ends, and we just keep meeting in the middle and butting heads. And I think the thing about you guys is that you meet in the middle, and you're brothers in arms. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
And that is so important in today's world. And I want to say another thing about you in particular, Chuck, is that what drew me to you was your street photography, your documentary work. I really started paying attention to you when I found your channel, and I get everything that you talked about, and every picture that you showed resonated with me because of all my experiences working with that population. You know what I mean? I 28 years now working directly with those kinds of people.
Sure.
So yeah, that resonated with me, and the things that you said and the genuine feelings that you had about them. And then even though that your conclusions are my conclusions, and they're not necessarily like feel-good conclusions of how you deal with situations with drug addiction, mental health, and crime. It isn't pretty how you deal with it.
No, it's not.
Because for the betterment of society, you do have to take harsher measures. And I really appreciated the fact that you could see the human side, but also see what's best for society. So what also, and then of course, me being just love dogs. That's my favorite subject. I watch your dogs up, but what really resonates with me about you, Chuck, is the fact that you can say, hey, I was wrong. I was wrong. This is how I see it now. And your ability to listen to evidence, decipher that evidence, research that evidence, and say, listen, I no longer run with the Kohler method, or I no longer believe the mythology behind Cane Corsos. And here's why. And here's the evidence. And then you do your research and you show the evidence. Yes, you piss people off because you're showing truths. You're not showing dead patterns anymore. You're not showing mythology. And so I like that about you, is that you can have an open mind, but also have strong convictions. And people don't get that in today's world. They don't get it. They don't get that you can.
Well, I tell you,
can have an open mind and be convicted.
Absolutely. Well, here's and thank you very much. I recommend having an active mind rather than having an open mind. And here's my essence. People have where their priorities and their loyalties, and most people place that primarily in people, places, and things. Mm-hmm. And then there's a minority of people that primarily the main thing is their loyalties are what is true, what is good, and what is beautiful. To go back to the original Trinity before Christianity plagiarized it from the Greeks, but so I center my life, and to follow, to be a subscriber to any one of my channels and is kind of an adventure. I take people along because I'm pretty authentic. I try to be. Well, it's just my nature, actually. And I always love learning and evolving, and that's what the pursuit of truth is. So you have to, it's funny when you bring up the Corso thing. Here I was arguing against Rachel from Senza, right? Mm-hmm. And on the side with the Satilli guys. And Edohodis and that whole crew. What was that guy? Salahuddin As-Salam was the guy that, and he would always say, "Do your research." And I did. I did more research than anybody online. There's a post on my website called "The Corso Hoax," loaded with interviews and just all kinds of shit. So I blew the lid off of that. Well, no, everybody had known. What I did is I actually articulated and compiled more than anyone else had ever done, as far as that. But then I found out that, oh wow, these are not the real dogs, and a lot of people got really pissed. Or the same thing with the Kohler method. What a way to ruin a protection dog. Luca's training right now exclusively is correcting what I did with the Kohler method. I will never, 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 never back tie a dog again. It will never happen. It won't happen.
Yeah.
You ruin your dogs, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
What was it like when you're deep into studying the Kohler method, and then all of a sudden, when you see Gypsy and you hear Gypsy, what was that like? Was it a slow progression, or was it just like overnight?
Well,
like,
it's interesting. Let me talk about Gypsy a little bit. So, yeah. So let me say I do understand what it is to be a master, because I am a certified master shingler. So I do know what mastership is. I am not a master dog trainer, and Gypsy is. It's insane, dude. It's sick. So here's my experiences with Gypsy. There's all these cool things, and then he blows my brain and changes my life and takes me to the next level. And then we have all these little meals, and then bam! Oh my God, he blows my mind. That's kind of the progression of things. With Gypsy, and I remember realizing so clearly that, oh my God, It's the opposite of the Kohler method that I need. It's the opposite of what everybody's doing on YouTube. It's the opposite. It's the wrong way. Now here, check this out. I'll tell the story of Luna, because there's an interesting evolution in my dogs that we could talk about, actually, because some of them are not like, okay, Luna's not tree trained because I hadn't got into the YouTube shit yet. Luca is, then back to not. But anyway, I was working Luna and I had gotten off the post, so I was heading in the right direction, but I was having my dogs on a harness and I was holding him, trying to handle him, totally wrong handling at the time. But Rick, if you remember Rick, he was my agitator for probably about 2-3 years or more. So he's got the bamboo thing, and one of the things you're trying to do is get the dog to not turn around, right? This is one of the things that you do. So sometimes you got to sting the dog in the ass with the switch so the dog stays engaged with the guy up front. That's an interesting topic, why the dog turns around, but we won't get sidetracked. So I said, Rick, next time you come around, sting her ass if she turns around, and she did. So, and then he went back. He came back out, and she jumped up and bit the fucking hand with the switch in it, and not the sleeve. And I thought, that damn dog's smarter than I am. So a bunch of stuff was like, okay, I wasn't noticing the tenacity in the videos that I was watching on YouTube. Just a lot of things started to happen, and then I interviewed Gypsy, and then what happened was, I sent in videos for some titles of my dogs. Let me tell you about Gypsy's roundtable. I'm Gypsy's main man. I sit at a high place at the table. So when he's seen my dogs, and I already had off switch, my down at that point. I had a lot of videos. I can call my dogs down chasing rabbits, squirrels at 100 yards. It don't matter, man. Well, when they're all tuned up. If you don't work with a dog all the time, they slip. Let's be real. You got to keep them sharp on that shit. So all of my dogs at one point have been really good at that, and then there's variances in between on that. So I already had the off switch and was already asking the questions, and he said, and I overdid my videos for the certificates. And so he called me and he said, "Did you breed and train those dogs?" I said, "Yes, sir, I sure did." And then from there, I was invited to the table because a couple different reasons. One, because I agree with his philosophy. There's no doubt about it. And whatever technical issues, I mean, there could be disputes, but the core foundation of the philosophy is irrefutable. It just really is, man. It just is, man. You either deal with it or go away. And then I think the other thing Gypsy likes is that I'm willing to take a stand on shit and fight, because I think it's important to him. He wants this message and this method, and his legacy, rightfully so, to continue and carry on. And so I am somebody that's involved with the church lady. Like when he heard I gave a dog away to a single mom, right? Because she needs the dog. And I'll help her train it. Now she's one of my agitators. It works out, mutually beneficial exchange in the end. So I have also that core where me and Gypsy are brothers. Is Gypsy does not like to see people oppressed either, or animals, or anything like that. And we have a common humanity where we share in that, and we want people to feel safe. And we both realize the realities of violent worlds. I've been shot at. I've had guns pulled on me. I've been in I don't know how many fights. We get it, and so I want to help people see. It was funny. The guy one of the members watched the video of the supposed 2 people the dog defending two people. It's ridiculous. He goes, man, he goes, the first time I seen that, he goes, that was just awesome. And he goes, now that I'm seeing what you're saying, he's like, you're right, dude. So it's really wonderful when people are like, no shit, that will get you jacked. And again, can I tell the funny story about Ivan?
Yeah.
I got to mention one name. And Ivan's, I have no animosity. Yeah. I have no animosity against that dude. He's a killer trainer, man.
Yeah.
I have no animosity against that dude at all, man. None. More power to him, man. Go, bro, go. You know what I'm saying? Take it to new heights, man. But so I don't do this in public because people get pissed when you criticize, but it's not criticizing. It's kind of like a martial artist looking at techniques. So I post a video over on my members side. It's a YouTube video, but the post is private. And I'm saying, hey, check this out, guys. Here's another one of these videos. Supposedly, this is a protection scenario against 3 attackers. Same old shit. Well, 2 funny things. One, I think the handler is a woman. I keep it on because I didn't even pay attention to whose name it is because it doesn't matter. And I'm pointing out all the ways as the video's playing. All right, here's where he gets killed. 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 Here's where he gets raped. You know, or she. I keep on saying it's a she. So then the members, I think it was Vicky, she comes on and she says, hey, she goes, 2 things. She goes, awesome critique. She said, I would have never seen that if you didn't do the play-by-play. She goes, but 2 things. Yeah. She says, that's not a woman. That's Ivan, the greatest dog trainer in the world. Isn't it funny? Oh yeah, whatever the case. Great.
Yeah.
But isn't it funny that some dude that needs a shave out in the fucking desert that doesn't have running water just annihilated the video?
It's
as a man, and not to belittle, not to name call. I didn't even know who the fuck it was. My point is I wanted, hey, let's learn. You learn success is built on a fucking rubble pile of failures. That's where success comes from. And so let's look at this stuff. And also to gain, like I tell the members over there, you know, to gain an appreciation for what we have here, because so many people just don't get it. And you know, you're not going to cure cancer or anything like that, but you can lead a few of the horses that you lead the water, they'll take a drink, you know. But hopefully there's a revolution, a muzzle resolution. Like I'm saying, the muzzle, here's the other thing with the muzzle, man. Get away from these sleeves, guys. I'm telling you. Get away from these sleeves because the muzzle is alive. Here's the other thing. Your agitators, if you're the common person, they don't want to get near your fucking dog, dude. Are you kidding me? Man, you put the muzzle on them, it frees. That's what I mean. The muzzle sets you free. Now, your agitators are a lot more likely to be in proximity of the dog because they know they could get scratched or something like that, but they're not going to get mauled, right? The dog's in a muzzle. Oh, man, is that liberating. Now, dig this. Now the dog is able to really fight this person. Freelance. You know what I mean? It's not targeting anything particular at the moment except for whatever arises. You know what I mean? It's not conditioned to some dry scenario. Is it the left hand? Is it the right hand? What is it? You know, the dog's going to decide that organically on the spot. So the muzzle, man, is where it is at. I'm telling you, you get a dog to hit like that the first time in a muzzle, and you will be like, fuck the sleeve. And if you think that, well, I got to finish him off on a sleeve just to make sure, why do you have to? You think Appy's going to give him a fucking kiss at the end of the rope? She's going to bite the fuck out of him, dude. You don't need to teach that dog how to bite. Are you kidding me? It's literally ludicrous. It's like teaching fish to swim. Are you fucking serious? How am I going to teach Appy how to bite? She knows how to protect her fucking cubs. Now I work her out on this. Now Appy, man, boy, does she have the jaw pressure, dude. I don't know where it. Well, they got the Neo in these. But man, she's only like 85 pounds, man. Whew. Boy, and here's the thing. I can take her anywhere, dude, and do. It's great. You know what I mean? It's great. And rinse and repeat with this, because that's a rocking horse winner there, baby. You know, 22 months, never been told any kind of alert word or any damn thing, dude. And just out of the box, ready to fucking kick ass and take names and shut off, you know, because by this point, it is so ingrained. Did you see my video, Stop on a Dime with 9 cents change with the spring pole?
Yes.
Now, see, there's something me and Gypsy would disagree. He doesn't care that I do that, but he wouldn't do that type of training. That's my own thing, where I use a jolly ball and I use a spring pole for the off switch, for the key thing, right? So on a dime is while your dog is doing, I prefer the spring pole more than a jolly ball, but as your dog's pulling, you should be able to tell that dog no, call that dog back to heel. Then you should be able to tell it, okay, release that dog to get that spring pole. And in mid-flight, just like Apollonia is literally in air, it'd be great to slow that down. She's in air. She's about to grab the toy. I say no, boom, she breaks off. There's your 9 cents change. You should be able to do those two things. You should be able to call your dog off its food. This is what we do. While the rocket scientist in Jacksonville, Florida is having Dutch Shepherds bite children, what we're doing is putting in an off switch, because we don't need that. We absolutely have no need to be playing tug and all this shit for years. No need. Isn't that beautiful, dude?
Absolutely.
That's the right breed, the right breeding, the right raising, the right training, the right relationship. I kind of gave up, one of the things with my documentary work, realizing, and it's sad because I'm kind of a old hippie biker dude. But my political work and all that kind of stuff, I realized, you know what, man? And I hate to say this, man, I really do. The show's over. And man, I'm not standing in the way of the crumbling buildings. So my contribution is no longer to try to change things politically. Fuck that. It's over. My contribution, and it comes out of my need myself for my own protection dogs. So that's my contribution then is I hang out with my dogs. I got one or two friends in town, my wife. I can stay out here for 9, 10, 11 days at a time. And especially with the internet, because I do have interactions with people through the internet. But that's really all I need, man. Because, well, look, all my dogs are here right now. All of them. Gertie's in the bedroom because she thinks of murder, but all the dogs are. She's a character, dude. I love her. But I love all these dogs, man. They're, well, like I said, here's the thing, dude. And like, okay, Luca was born right there on the floor. Apollonia was born right there on the floor. Trudy was born right there in the kitchen. Every one of those dogs, and it's just such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Oh, they have it come out, and to pull that sack away, and to blow on it, rub that little head, and to hear that, and to smell that first little, oh my God, dude. Oh, blows me away, dude. And then here's the thing. The dogs make you a better person because you have to care for that little helpless thing. You know what I mean? Hey, you know what? Sometimes you got to do hard things, man. Sometimes you got to put them down, it puts you close to the cycle of life and death. But the relation, I'm going to get to a point here that's really important. So the relationship there is really, really special. And most people can't really have that. But a lot of people are going to get your puppy at 8 weeks old. Okay. Here's what I'm saying. Please do not buy a dog that is pre-trained in protection. Please, please, please do not do that. I don't think that's a good idea. Gypsy doesn't think that's a good idea, and I can give you reasons why. But if you can imagine the bond that I have with my dogs, and you're going to miss out. That relationship is the training and raising process. If you farm that out, you're farming out the relationship along with it. That is where the trust and the love, that's where the master, the just master, as I like to say, because a lot of people don't like that word. It's not about superiority. It's about being a just master. These dogs need us. They're domesticated. They're Canis lupus familiaris. They're not wild. They need us, and they need our care. And that's why, recently in the news with that guy that got busted with I can't stand, dogs out in the mud and no basic shots, and the whole community should rail against that kind of stuff. It gives PETA the ammo, So yeah, man, it's about the relationship, and if you farm out all of that stuff, here I'll give you a little tip. You guys want to save a lot of problems? I'll give you a little tip. Oh, I'll give you one. You ready for one?
Let's do
Here's
it.
a diamond. Here's a diamond. When you get your puppy at 8 weeks old, and when your puppy is in the house, until that puppy is 1 year old, that puppy is either in its crate, and if it is not in its crate, and I mean the day it gets home, it is on a flat collar with a lead in the house at all times. And if you want to find out why and how to use that, you'll have to pay me.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, and this isn't Gypsy, dude. This is like I've raised dogs like that forever. It's just old school shit. People think they're reinventing the wheel, and they got 4 quadrants and operants and this and that, and it's like, oh my god. Which it's all fascinating. It really is. Thank you. Let me get back to, hey, you know what? The other thing, like you look at like Trudy, and I've done live streams. I'd show and tell. 100 feet away from the fucking flirt pole, call that dog. What is she, 10, 11 months old? Tell that dog no, come, boom. No treats, bro. No treats, no e-collar, no clickers, no prong collar, no none of that shit. Flat collar, lead, love. Crazy, man. The world got too complex, man. Now the gas don't come out of the can. None of the air comes out of the pumps at the gas station. It's all real safe, but nothing works.